Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a source that at first glance feels incredibly small.
Very small.
We are talking about a single blog post about maybe buying a plastic plant, specifically an artificial orchid.
It sounds mundane, doesn't it? But if you've been with us for a while, you know that the smallest data points often reveal the most complex systems.
Exactly, because this isn't just a post about home decor. The post is titled Notes on Gardening, which seems normal enough until you see the little parenthetical right next to it. It says Part 801.
Part 801. I mean, that is a number that should really stop you in your tracks.
It certainly stopped me. I honestly thought it was a typo.
Or a joke.
Right? Like when people say day 4,000 of quarantine. But we dug into the source, a site called keynm.org, and no, it is not a typo. This is entry number 801 in a gardening journal kept by a man named Ang.
Who describes himself as an old software plumber. And that self-description, that's the lens, is the key to all of this. We are not looking at a gardener who, dabbles in tech.
Yeah.
We are looking at a systems architect who is trying to run his domestic life with the same rigor he applies to open source software.
So let's look at the specific problem he's trying to solve here. It's February 8th, 2026. Ang is looking at his home, his environment, and he wants an orchid. But he just refuses to buy a live one.
And not for the usual reasons.
No. Usually when people don't want live plants because they're lazy or they travel too much, that's not Ang's reasoning at all.
No. Laziness is not in this guy's vocabulary. He basically does a root cause analysis on why live plants fail in his house.
He talks about pests, fungus, and mold. But he doesn't just say it gets moldy. He blames the specific microclimate created by the architectural design of his housing area.
And see, this is where the software plumber comes right out. He's viewing his house as a production environment.
Okay.
And he identified a dependency conflict. The live plant module requires a certain humidity and airflow that his architectural hardware just can't support.
A specific microclimate? It sounds so scientific for just saying, my house is a bit damp.
But the words matter. By calling it a microclimate, he removes the emotion. It's not that he's a bad gardener. It's not that the plant is weak.
It's a system mismatch.
It's a system mismatch. The environment is hostile to the application. If you try to run high-maintenance software on incompatible hardware, what happens? It crashes. In this case, the crash looks like mildew.
Okay, so he's identified the bug. The environment causes mold when biological assets are introduced. So logically, he looks for a patch.
Enter the artificial orchid.
Right. He found one in a shop that finally tempted him. And he describes it as aesthetically pleasing and an excellent alternative.
Now think about that in software terms. An artificial plant is a static asset. It doesn't change state. It doesn't require resources, no water, no sunlight. It has 100% uptime. It solves the user interface requirement. It looks good without introducing the security vulnerabilities of pests or fungus.
It's the perfect path.
It is. It creates the desired visual output with, zero back-end maintenance. For a guy who seems to optimize everything, this should be an instant buy.
But it's not. And this is where I really got stuck. He's standing there. He's done the analysis. He's found the perfect static asset, and he walks away. He writes, I haven't made the purchase just yet.
And why do you think that is?
Well, he proposes two methods for making the decision. And the first one makes perfect sense to me. He considers buying just one unit.
Classic unit testing.
Exactly, to experiment. He wants to find the optimum spot to accentuate the home design.
Right. He's not going to roll out the update to the entire server. He's not buying 10 plants. He's pushing one commit to production to see if it breaks the build. He even mentions feng shui, but in this context, feng shui is just another set of validation rules, isn't it?
Does this object clash with the existing CSS of the living room?
Precisely.
Okay, so that's method one. It's logical, iterative, very safe. But then he throws out method two, and I have to admit, I kind of rolled my eyes.
Let me guess. The dream.
Yes, the dream. He writes, quote, or maybe I just sleep over it, and if I ever dream about it, then we'll proceed with that.
It is unexpected.
Unexpected. It's totally contradictory. You have a guy who analyzes architectural microclimates and writes 800 notes on gardening. He is Mr. Logic, and now he's going to make a purchasing decision based on whether his neurons fire randomly during REM sleep. It feels like he's just abandoning his entire philosophy.
See, I disagree. I think this is actually the most sophisticated part of his algorithm.
Sophisticated? How is waiting for a dream sophisticated? It's basically flipping a coin, just slower.
Not quite. think about it from a data perspective.
Hmm.
He has already run all the logical diagnostics. Pros, no mold, looks good. Cons, costs money, might look tacky. The logical data is inconclusive, right? The scales are balanced.
Okay.
So when an algorithm hits a deadlock, what do?
You have to break the loop somehow.
Exactly. You need a tiebreaker. But you don't want a random tiebreaker like a coin flip, because that doesn't account for desire. He's using his subconscious as a heuristic.
A heuristic.
Yeah, a mental shortcut. He knows that his conscious brain is stuck in analysis paralysis. So he's offloading the processing to a background thread, his subconscious. If he dreams about the plant, that's a signal that the desire for the object is strong enough to penetrate all that noise.
So it's a severity check.
It's a severity check. If it's not important enough to dream about, it's not important enough to buy.
So you're saying the dream isn't magic, it's just deeper data?
Precisely. It's data from the kernel level, not the user interface. He's acknowledging that logic has its limits. You can logically justify a plastic plant, but you can't logically justify wanting one. A dream confirms the want.
That is a generous interpretation, but I see your point. It's an emotional unit test.
I like that, an emotional unit test.
But to really get why he needs these kinds of tests, we have to look at the sheer volume of decisions this man is tracking. We said notes on gardening is at part 801, but when we zoomed out to the sidebar of his website, the scale of this project, it actually frightened me a little.
It's immense. It's a comprehensive database of a human life.
It's not just gardening. We saw notes on photography at part 228, notes on fish keeping, part 191, and then all the technical stuff. Notes on Elixir, notes on Rust, notes on Go, notes on Haskell.
And notice the specific languages he chooses. Rust, Elixir, Haskell. These are not your basic, scripting languages. These are languages obsessed with correctness.
Right.
Rust is famous for its memory safety preventing crashes before they happen. Elixir and Erlang are built for massive concurrency handling thousands of processes at once without failing.
So he's drawn to systems that are rigorous and crash-proof.
Exactly. He likes strict rules. He likes strong typing where you have to define exactly what everything is before you use it.
Yeah.
And he's trying to apply that strong typing to the messy, weakly typed world of biology.
That's a fascinating conflict because biology is the opposite of Rust. Biology is leaky. Biology has side effects.
And that's why he struggles. Look at the fish section. He doesn't just have notes on fish. He has betta spawn logs and fish's spawn logs.
Spawn log.
He is logging the reproductive cycles of his aquarium with the same format he uses to debug code.
Spawn logs. It sounds so clinical, like Captain's Logs, Stardate 2026. The betta has spawned.
But that's the discipline. He's trying to bring observability to nature. In software, observability means you can understand the internal state of a system just by looking at its outputs. He wants his life to be observable. He wants to look at the logs and see why the betta died or why the orchid got moldy.
The frequency just gets me, though. We looked at the archives. In the first 8 days of February 2026, he posted 24 times.
3 posts a day.
3 a day.
Yeah.
And we checked the previous years, 2025, 2024, 2023, over 730 posts in each of those years. That's 2 posts a day, every single day, for years. No holidays, no sick days.
It's relentless.
Is it? Is it healthy? I mean, seriously, most people can't keep a diary for a week. This guy's documenting every minor update to his existence. At what point does the documentation get in the way of the living?
Well, that's the classic quantified self debate, isn't it? If you're busy tracking your sleep, are you actually resting? But I think for Ang, the documentation is the living, or at least it's the processing.
What do you mean by that?
Think about the notes on title convention. He never writes how to grow orchids. He writes notes on gardening. Notes implies a scratch pad. It implies a work in progress. It's not a final publication, it's a commit message.
A commit message. For those listening who aren't developers, that's the little note you leave when you save a new version of your code to explain what you changed.
Right. Fixed bug in microclimate, updated layout in a living room. If you don't write commit messages and you look back at your code 6 months later, you have no idea why you did anything.
Yeah.
You just see a mess. Ang is ensuring that when he looks back at his life, he doesn't see a mess. He sees a version history.
So it's a manual for himself.
It's a user manual for Ang. And that's incredibly powerful. I mean, how many times have you made the same mistake twice? How many times have you bought a gadget you didn't need or started a hobby you hated just because you forgot you did the exact same thing 3 years ago?
Oh, constantly.
Ang doesn't forget. It's in the logs. He can go to notes on guitar part 42 and see exactly why he stopped practicing. He can query his own database.
That brings us back to the whole open source idea. In his sidebar, he links to the EFF, the Free Software Foundation, the Tor project. These are, heavy hitters in the world of digital rights and privacy.
They are, and they represent a philosophy of transparency and freedom. The Free Software Foundation isn't just about free stuff. It's about the freedom to study, to change, and to distribute the code.
But how does that apply to a plastic orchid?
It applies to his mindset. He believes information should be free and accessible. By publishing these notes, even the mundane ones about fake plants, he is open sourcing his life. He's making his data public. He's not hiding his failures. He tells us about the mold. He tells us about his hesitation.
It's actually remarkably vulnerable in a very dry, technical way. He signs off, yours truly, Ang, until the next post. It feels intimate.
And it connects back to that idea of community. Even if the community is silent, he's contributing to the knowledge base of the internet. Maybe 5 years from now, someone else with a damp house and a love for orchids will find Note 801 and say, aha, the microclimate is the problem.
So he's saving future developers or future homeowners the trouble of debugging the same error he did.
Exactly. It's altruism through documentation.
I do want to touch on the visuals for a second. We know he's a photographer. That notes on photography section is huge. And he mentions taking photos of the orchid in the shop.
That's another layer of data. Text captures the logic. Photography captures the state. If you're a systems thinker, you want as many data points as possible. The photo proves the aesthetic value he mentioned. It's visual proof that the patch works.
It feels like he's trying to build a complete redundant backup of his own consciousness. Text, photos, logs, timestamps, all of it.
If his house burned down or if he lost his memory, he could probably reconstruct his personality just by reading his website.
That's a terrifying and beautiful thought.
It really is. It challenges us. We just sort of drift through life. We let days bleed into weeks. We say, where did 2025 go? Ang knows exactly where 2025 went. It went into 730 specific posts. He can account for every bite of his time.
But does he enjoy it? That's what I keep coming back to. He treats his guitar, his fish, his home decor like work, like tickets in a bug tracker. Where's the joy?
I think the joy is in the competence. For a mind like his, and there are many engineers like this, chaos is stressful, ambiguity is painful. Defining the problem, analyzing the constraints, and finding a solution that is satisfying.
So buying the plastic orchid isn't just about having a flower, it's about solving the puzzle.
Correct. The joy isn't the flower, the joy is the patch. He successfully navigated the constraints of a microclimate and deployed a working solution. That is a dopamine hit for a software plumber.
And the dream.
The dream is the final sign-off, the user acceptance testing.
When we started this, I was ready to dismiss this guy as just eccentric. But the more we talk, the more I feel like I'm the one doing it wrong. I'm running around with legacy code and unpatched bugs in my life, and I'm not even writing it down.
We all are. We all have microclimates we ignore. Maybe it's a toxic relationship or a bad diet or a desk that hurts your back. We just suffer through the bugs. Ang stops, opens a terminal, and writes a note. Bug identified. Back hurts. Cause. Chair height. Proposed solution. Adjust elevation.
And then he waits for a dream to confirm it.
Well, maybe not for the chair. But for the big stuff, why not?
So, what's the takeaway here for you, for the listener? I don't think we can reasonably expect people to start writing 700 blog posts a year. I mean, that's a full-time job.
No, don't try to be Ankin. You'll burn out in a week. The lesson isn't the volume, it's the observability.
Observability.
Start treating your life like a system that can be optimized. When something goes wrong, when you burn dinner or you miss a deadline or you kill a plant, don't just get mad. Get analytical.
Write a crash report.
Yes. Ask yourself, what were the dependencies? Was it the microclimate? Was it a resource shortage? Was it a user error?
And write it down, even if it's just one sentence. Note on dinner, burnt because I was distracted by my phone.
Exactly. You've just created a data point. Next time, you might avoid that bug.
And I suppose the other lesson is about the patches.
Don't be afraid of the artificial orchid. Sometimes the perfect solution, the live, blooming, organic plant, is just impossible given your constraints. There is no shame in installing a patch that works.
A working patch is better than broken software.
Always.
I am still stuck on the dream, though. I think I'm going to try it. I've been looking at a new coffee machine. Logic says it's too expensive. My heart says I need the caffeine.
Sleep on it.
I will. And if I dream about an espresso shot, I'm buying it.
Just make sure you document the decision in Notes on Coffee Part 1.
I will do my best. Thanks for taking this deep dive into the mind of the software plumber with us. It's been structured.
Till the next post.